And a big part I like bringing into these experiences, the kind of mindfulness element, as imagine you've found by talking to people about mental health. That's the key kind of what would you call that, like kind of cornerstone of mental health really, is to be aware. Because if you're present, you're much less likely to cause yourself problems and cause others problems, because you're aware of yourself.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, should I be angry? Oh no, I feel that emotion in my body. I know what that feels like. My heart's going, my fists are clenching, and oh, I see that coming. So you actually see it coming, and you go, okay, what do I know I can do right now? Maybe I'll walk away. Maybe I just need to take some deep breaths and just calm myself down and become present. Maybe I got to talk to someone. Whatever works. I think that's quite an individual thing. So we bring that into, as we're doing things, we go, okay, well, if you really want to engage in this task well, you need to be present. So what do you see on that plant? Oh look at all the different colours just in that one plant, the different greens and different browns, and oh, what's the texture? Oh, what's that? Oh, those little insects. Oh, what are those holes in the leaves? Where did they come from? What's the story? What the whakapapa of those holes in that plant? So we start layering in the depth of awareness you can have just doing a simple thing. You know, so we're teaching mindfulness, and then also teaching people to be more aware of themselves emotionally, and also just having conversations about themselves. Like I just had a young guy I was talking to here the other day, and he was going, oh yeah, I got some problems with my friends. And I'm going, well, tell me about it. And basically at the end he goes, it's just nice to talk about it. Like, because my dad doesn't really talk about it. He's not the sort of guy that will get emotional or talk about these sorts of things. Practical. So just having a space here to go, hey, it's safe to talk about these things. I might not even have the answers. I gave him some advice, but I think he seemed to say what was important was actually just having the space where he could chat to someone. Helps probably to be a little bit younger, so they're maybe a little bit more relatable. But you know, we want to have a mixture of the generations here too, eventually. So it's like a big community. We're not a community. We don't live here, but we're teaching people how to be in community as part of the kind of education framework.
So it kind of sounds like if I'm a little bit lost, or I'm struggling to see a lot of light in my day, that if I come to Piwakawaka Farm, I'm going to be connecting hopefully with myself, hopefully with the land, and making connections with other people. Is that right?
That's dead right. And then hopefully also developing skills that you can go off. There's a huge river here, Te Aotearoa, the Wanganui River, and maybe like there's a lot of money right now to regenerate that river. Oh, I can go get a job.
Yeah, wicked.
And continue doing that.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not even the planting of trees that matters to me. Maybe the purpose I get is actually just hanging out with people and talking and contributing. So you can also discover more about what it's not the activity. Sometimes it's the more like deeper questions of like why. I find a lot of people when they, from a young age, it's like, what are you going to do? And our kind of philosophy is, why are you doing it?
Yeah.
That way it doesn't even matter what you're doing as long as the whys are true and what you're doing. You know, you can do anything and be happy and content in it. So there's the river. We do a lot of food stuff here too. So a big thing for us is food systems. We want really healthy soil. Teach people to build life in soil.
But it's a lost skill for a lot of people, right?
It's sad.
So removed from our food sources, just because of land and opportunity, I suppose, and the way we're brought up. But it's an important one, and it's one that you're continuing here. Absolutely. Because
you want to be healthy mentally, you need to eat good food. Like we grow nutrient-dense food. Our food has higher nutrient value.
Slight disclaimer, it hasn't been really happening on this trip because we're eating out of the van, but we'll do our best when we get home.
You know, exercise, which you get by being on land and doing things.
Yep.
Mindfulness, I think, is another fundamental part of good mental health. And you know, and obviously being in community, having purpose and place within people, within what you're doing.
Cool. Cool. And finally, the last question that we sort of look to target is, you are a massive advocate for mental health. You've seen a need for it, and you have reflected on that and developed means to address that via the different methods that you've just discussed. Let's say that I'm from a smaller community or even a city, but I'm not really in touch with organisations, but I know that a couple of my mates could really do with something. Myself, maybe I'm looking for something. How would you encourage or assist someone to become that person that's required within that community, that advocate that is going to help address that need? Like, have you got any tips and tricks?
Oh, it's a good question, because I mean the way you guys sort of came across me was Tough Talk, so that was me driving my van for about 2 years interviewing different guys around Aotearoa about their stories and their tools. I think what I learned there is firstly just doing it yourself, being like authentic, being vulnerable. Just like, you guys show up and you're like, oh, how are you doing? You're like, well, it's actually been pretty tough doing this trip. That's a great example of straight away creating a space where I go, oh, I feel like I could tell these guys how I'm really doing. I mean, I'm feeling okay today, but if I wasn't, I'd probably go, oh, I'm also a bit, tired out. And I think just doing that something, role modeling it, you're setting a culture and a standard of safety, of emotional safety. I think you can set up groups within your communities that are safe places to chat. I think it's really important to have that, and it doesn't need to be a success. Like, you can go, okay, cool, once a month or once a week we've got this space, you can come along, we've got a fire, we've got a circle, we'll set a culture together, we'll set some agreements of confidentiality, or just how we communicate with each other. A little bit of a process. Maybe only 2 people talk in depth each time. I found it's like I've tried to do the thing where everyone contributes. And what I've learned is it's nice for everyone to have a little bit of a voice, but more focusing in a bit more deeply on the people who really need it at the time, and then the others are just there for them. Fires are great. I think for guys too, there's something about talking can be sometimes a bit awkward, but you can just stare at a fire for a bit. Yeah. And it's really nice.
That's a common theme that's coming up in our chats about not making it a chat.
Yeah. Well, it's so nice to have something to do. That's at the heart of this place, really, is, it's all about the environment. You can go do something risky. Go set some traps. You can get your finger caught, but the whole time you're in the bush, you're being present, you're having conversations with people. The activity is kind of just a medium to connect and be present and be in this place. So yeah, maybe your support group could have activities you do together, but I think the more we have those spaces and the more open they are, and just like, hey, there's a space in this community that exists, someone's basically just doing the admin, setting it up. They don't even need to lead it. You can just take turns, and each week someone else can sort of take the lead, so to speak, and do the facilitation and get the food or whatever. I think that would be huge. I think it's hard to access therapists and counsellors. There's more and more, there's more opportunity to that through businesses and things, which is great to see. But yeah, just having something a little bit earlier in the picture. You're starting to go, oh, I'm having these thoughts. I'm thinking about, I thought about killing myself the other day. You're not necessarily going to do it, but you thought about it. This is quite normal. You have a circle where you can go, hey, I had that thought. Everyone's going, not going, oh, I'm worried. Going, okay, tell us why. Let's talk about that, and just and then they all are aware of how you're doing, and maybe they go, hey, maybe you shouldn't operate that heavy machinery this week, or I could come in and do that for you, or take your kids for a bit, or just being more aware of how we're all doing helps us. Your sign's going down.
We're very professional here.
Tawhiri Mati is not agreeing.
That's all good.
Maybe I need to keep thinking about my ideas, but I think that's a simple thing and to do, and maybe it's similar. Maybe you could come and learn about trees and gardening, and I think gardens are awesome to have chats in. Again, you can go quiet and just be present for a bit, and then continue. I have some of the hardest chats with my mates in the garden. Okay, let's have this hard chat, and then both like, oh, that's making me feel like I want to get defensive, but you're just like, no, just don't
persevere.
Don't don't react in that defensiveness. Just like garden for a bit, and then let the emotions pass, and be like, oh, I'm not going to be defensive. Actually, I need to. I'm not perfect. I definitely get defensive.
So you go from picking tomatoes to go, I'm going to go chop some wood.
Chopping wood. I've got to do a bit. Autumn's coming on. It's wood chopping time. So I mean, to sum that up, really, I think being a good role model. And I think a lot of us in New Zealand go, oh, it's the other that's struggling. I need to support others. But normally when you're thinking that, turn it back and go, what am I doing to heal myself? And then in doing that, how can I take others on that journey with me? Because when you're working with a group, even I'm a psychologist, and when I'm talking to someone in a therapy session and feeling the conversations helping me, could I relate to what they're going through or with their family or whatever. I reckon that's the best way to heal someone, is the sharing that emotional experience, because it's not about, my last little tip there is, it's not about healing or therapy or supporting people. I don't think it's about solutions. The solution itself is just feeling together, to like bring up the emotion, feel it, let that mountain come up, come out of that dip, sit there, have a laugh, finish, close it up, have just a nice, often I find when you have that release, you feel a bit more loose. Make a joke, talk about what you're going to do next. Sort of, at the end of any support group is bring you out of that. Sing a song, together. Do something to sort of change the energy. Play a game, diffuse it, go about your life. Those are some of my tools and tricks, so to speak, that maybe you can use too.
Wicked. Oh, well, thank you so much, Sam, for having us at Pi Waka Waka. We really enjoyed it, and really do appreciate you giving up your time to help out someone, hopefully, that watches and needs something and goes, you know what, I'm going outside and I'm going to dig something up.
It's a pleasure, and I think you guys, I think the more people out there, I love your approach actually of going around and just raising awareness of things already happening. A lot of people are like, oh, let's do another thing and try and get funding for it, but you guys are like, no, there's things happening, let's just like amplify those.
Hopefully, that's the goal.
So I appreciate your kaupapa.
Empty your pockets, empty. It's going straight to the guys like this. Awesome, cool, thank you, cheers.